Hey friends, welcome to 1 Minute with Monee. Balance doesn't happen overnight, but it does happen one intentional minute at a time. This podcast gives you the tools to make it happen. I'm your host, Monee, your favorite concierge and founder of Time Managed LLC. Join me each week for practical tips and real examples to help you manage your lifestyle with ease. Well, hello and welcome to the next episode of 1 Minute with Monee. I am really excited to have here with me today my friend, Tamara Nikole, and she is a motivational speaker, a coach who is empowering women to heal, transform, and spark. Welcome to the show.
Well, thank you for having me, Miss Monee. I'm glad to be here.
Of course. And I have to tell the audience how we met. So we worked together, but we were not in the same area. We were tapped to work on a project together for the global diversity kind of aspect of our company.
Correct.
Which is really a volunteer role. I used it as a way to get to know people because, we're 100% remote. I said, I'm going to volunteer for this. I said, I think I can do it if you just tell me what to do. And I said, I'll do it, but can I have a co-chair? And you said, I'll co-chair it with you.
And that's where Miss Bubbly came along.
And I love that because I feed off of people's energy. I know if I'm going to get along with somebody, if I'm going to, if we're going to mesh, everybody's not for you.
Right.
And if you are in tune with what you want, then you know right away if that person is going to be for you or not.
I'm not for you.
And even if you weren't for me and I wasn't, attracted to your energy and, we didn't become friends, we still would have got through what we had to do because we could go through the steps to do it. But it's more fun.
I think it made it more memorable.
More memorable, more fun. We knocked it out the park.
We did. We did that. I mean, the bar was raised and it was raised super high.
Mm-hmm.
So I really enjoyed getting to know you in that aspect as well. I had heard your name a couple of times. I think we were maybe on a couple calls together, but really didn't know who you were until we started working together.
Yep.
So.
Yep. I'm so glad that opportunity brought us together.
Me too, because look at us now.
Look at us now. Look at us now. But I wanted to have you on because, of course, we have our day jobs, which we won't mention because that is not why we're here.
Nope.
We are here.
Not here.
To talk about your passion.
Yes.
And the reason why I brought up how we met is because I knew from the moment I met you that you're greater than just what we were tasked to do. I felt that from you and the way that you interact with people, not just me, but I see your interactions with other people. Like you said, you're bubbly. You want to make sure people are good. You want to you speak life into people. You are manifesting for people. All of that.
Yeah.
Our day job.
Yeah.
But your passion
and beyond.
Yeah. And so I appreciate that about you. And I think that's one of the things that really wanted me to get to know you outside of work and get to know what you do as your passion.
Yeah.
And that is coaching. So tell me exactly what you do and tell me how you got started.
So I am a transformational coach and I help women get unstuck from life setbacks. Could be anything that person feels they are stuck because of. I come in and I show them a new perspective of where they're stuck, right? Once we identify how they got there, they learn to reclaim their identity and rebuild confidence to help them get out of it. And that's sometimes hard because, and I don't like to say that I'm a coach of somebody. I'm an accountability partner and I'm a helper, right? Sometimes, especially we as Black women, right? We have a hard time asking for help because we're so used of giving to other people, right? That when it's time for us to receive that blessing, we feel like we're not worthy of it. And that's where I come in to say, you know what? It's okay that you're stuck. You have a community of people. It takes a village to get unstuck. And we've heard that so many years from so many elderly, our elders and our ancestors and stuff.
It's also normally about children. When we use that phrase, it's normally in relation to our children. It takes a village to raise a child.
Adults need a village. Adults need a support group, right? And throughout all of this, it took a couple of years, right? But you did ask me how I got into this. It has always been my purpose. Like I knew from a young child that my purpose was going to be able to help women in a different way, right? Life changing, right? I've had people that have just come to me and sat on my couch at home and just not willingly, that wasn't the purpose of them coming over,
Mhm.
and they just felt so comfortable that they was like, "Oh, can I share this with you? You're so easy to talk to, or you give great perspective on something." You know what I mean? And it was from that that I was like, "You know what? Holy Spirit, just use me." And at first, as you have a passion, you get to that point where you're like, "Ooh, this is a little scary. Do
Mhm.
do I take this as a risk, or is it going to be?" And at one point, I was just like, "You know what? God is really calling me to do this." And more importantly, over anything, is His will for my life, and that I get it right, that I get the purpose right for
Mhm.
Him. Because with that comes peace, with that comes happiness. And I decided a couple years back to just put it on paper and make it a company. Although I had clients before and I was doing everything, for free because I was starting out, and you were like trying to test the water like, ooh, and then you have things like imposter syndrome that sets in when you're trying to do something great,
Yeah.
but then you're like, is this really me being biased thinking I'm great? Or is this everybody who, becomes a client, they'll be impacted by your greatness,
Mhm.
right?
The people that were coming to you, they were attracted to your energy, what you were offering. They felt comfortable. In that, it sounds like that was confirmation for you that this is the right thing that I should do and pursue.
That was the confirmation. I had too many people sitting on the couch doing that. And I said, you know what? I remember praying one night and I said, God, let your will be done. And I had no thoughts to do a business in Georgia or anything like that. And then all of a sudden I was on my computer and something came up. I landed on a website that I had no intention on being on, and it happened to be the Georgia Gov website
Okay.
where you can go ahead and apply for your LLC. And I was just like, okay, Lord, you gonna bring it to me. If I can't go searching for it, you gonna bring it to me. So at that point, I went ahead and sealed the deal. I do also remember saying as I was filling this out and completing all the steps for it, is I was, just memorizing and kept saying to myself in my thoughts the prayer of Jabez, like, God, just increase my territory, make it get for you, because just completely take me out of it now.
Mhm.
And I was thinking about my community. I was thinking about my backyard, like my community.
Mhm.
And God is just so great in a sense that um he increased my territory so much that I started, receiving queries from people
Mm.
in different countries that you may have looked at on a map and you said, "Oh, what's that?" You know what I mean? I had a client in Bosnia.
Wow.
I had a group of women in Australia. So it was at that point when I got the client in Bosnia. And, you have to be careful of how you coach people because you can also bring in your limited beliefs as a coach. And I try to refrain from doing that. My culture is not a person who lives in Bosnia's culture. You know, me living in the United States is not the same as living in Bosnia.
Mhm.
So I had to really take that into consideration. And I'm telling you, God was just using me as a vessel. He gave me an assessment to give the client to say, what does your life look like? Let me know you first
Mhm.
before I go and try to help you. I have to know you. I
Right.
can't just come in and help you without knowing you.
Building
That's
relationship.
very important.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. That's the
Yes.
key to having any service-based business. You have to get to know who your client is.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And it takes some time to do that, because sometimes they're free with information, and sometimes you've got to do a technique where you anchor them to pull things out so that you can really get the authenticity of them. Because sometimes people will, they will give their fake self first. They
Who
they
they want you to
they
believe they
who
are.
exactly.
When people want to be fake and they want to bring a version of themselves that they think you want to know, how do you get them to trust you enough to be vulnerable enough to be their real self?
That happens quite often, and it takes time. In my coaching style, I let them be that person first. I give them a couple of sessions where they're that person. And then once they get comfortable and you can start seeing their shoulders relaxed, you can start seeing their breathing is different. Sometimes they actually authenticate on their own. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like that. I don't know if you guys have ever had like this phone where you had to tokenize it or authenticate it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it goes in and it does that double authentication, right?
Yes.
People do that.
Yeah.
We do that by nature and they will do it on their own. And if they don't do it, then I have an assessment of questions that I will start to ask them throughout the session that will create them to authenticate.
Okay.
It's a beautiful thing to watch. It's a beautiful thing to watch because I have clients who are like, okay, when I first start with you, this is off limits. This is off. We're not talking about this. Don't ask me about this. And I'm just like, okay. And by the fourth or fifth session, they're like, oh, well, let me tell you about this. And I'm like, oh,
They open up
I thought that
everything.
was off limits, but I'm glad to know that we have a breakthrough here,
Yeah.
but yeah. So like I said, I love to see it unfold that way because that's where I need people. That's where the transformation really, really happens. It's when they're the most vulnerable. Because when you're guarded, which is the fake person, you're guarded,
Yeah.
you're not vulnerable. And you can't receive the self-help during that time. You can't see it. You can't reassess, So I love that stage, which is the first stage.
So your framework is SPARK, S.P.A.R.K.
Correct.
Is the assessment step 1 of SPARK?
The assessment, so
Or is that before you even get into the rest of
that's
the
even
framework?
before you get into the framework, right?
Okay.
Because I need to know a little bit about you.
Yeah.
Once I get you authenticated is when we start into the SPARK framework. And the SPARK framework, the S in SPARK is for you to see it, right? And that's where I want this individual to be so hyper aware of who they are. See who you are, right? Because if you want something in your life to change, if you're stuck in an area, if you can't see it and if you can't call it for what it is, you won't be able to break through from it, if that makes sense. Had a client who was diagnosed with cancer, with breast cancer. And I remember her and I vividly speaking when she came to me, she said, hey, look, I just got this diagnosis. And she didn't really want to call it. She didn't want to say it. She was like, I don't want to say it. And I'm like, well, if you say it, what will happen? She goes, it becomes real. It becomes a real thing. And I said to her, I said, well, we want to fight a real thing. We don't want to fight something imaginary because then, there's no win there, right? So at your time, when you're comfortable, we need to call it. We need to say the C word. And I said, do you know how many people participate in the Breast Cancer Awareness Month of October? And they do these runs and they do these walks. All of those women who are survivors, do you think that they're running to the finish line by not calling it? They're saying, I defeated cancer, right? I became victorious over cancer. And that's where I want you to be. That's the goal that we're looking for in this race. And from that day forward, she never said, I don't want to name it. Whenever she calls me now, she's like, okay, well, we are scheduled for surgery for this cancer thing, and it's and not to make a joke out of cancer or anything like that, because it's super serious. But with this particular client, it opened up a part of her where there was hyper awareness of what she was going through. You're no longer in denial, right? And you're now able to put on your gloves because you're now able to see exactly what you're fighting.
Yeah.
Right. And it was so profound when that happened. And I said, just right there, you had a breakthrough. Breakthroughs are happening all over the place, whether they're small or whether they're these grand gestured wins, right? Even the small wins of saying the name of something that you were diagnosed with. That was a very profound moment.
And it sounds like it may have been something that she wasn't even expecting. And so she's entering into this coaching relationship with you. And then you are able to even transform that mindset about what she's going through. She probably didn't even come to you for that specific thing, but it happened as a result of.
It was one of the things that I don't want to discuss.
Yeah.
It was one of those things that I don't wanna touch on it. I'm embarrassed, you know? I never realized that. I never realized that, when people get diagnosed with things, one of the things that holds them back the most is the embarrassment of being diagnosed with it. But that's all part of the essence spark, is to see it. See it. You cannot fight what you don't name. You know what I mean? So that is one of the things that I really hit home on when I'm coaching people. We stay at S for a minute because a lot of people are reluctant to be hyper aware and to see or even to go that deep and be that vulnerable. So it takes time in that stage,
Okay.
the framework. But when it happens, then we get to peak.
Okay.
And
What
and
does P stand
and
for?
the P stands for pause. Because once
See, I
you
just took a breath. I'm like, okay, pause.
you
Like,
saw that?
okay.
See, it's even working now and you don't even know it. I'm so
Right.
serious.
I think hearing certain words helps your body to relax.
We're so
Or I was
reactionary.
going to say we react.
We're so reactionary. So there's even a little thing that I do with some clients where I say I can see the body language.
Mhm.
And I say, okay, right now, what we're going to do is pause. And as soon as I say that, their shoulders drop.
Mm.
For me, coaching is not about an hour session. Coaching is really about getting my clients accustomed to conditioning themselves, being so aware of what their body needs and how they're feeling. I need you to be in tune with your body. And if I see your shoulders up really high and I see that you're tense and I see that you're fidgeting with something, I know that you're not in tune at that moment.
Mhm.
So I actually tell them, hey, we're going to take a pause right here. Let's do some box breathing. Let's do a little meditation and I'll have them close their eyes. Or even I'll affirm them. I'll do an affirmation. And once I say that with this big old smile that I always have on my face, once I say that, they're like, oh, really? And then the shoulders drop. So I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, you're good now. I'm seeing this.
Uh-huh.
One client said to me, she goes, I always know what you're doing. I always know what you're doing. And I'm like, okay, well, you have to start doing that for yourself,
Yeah.
right? Be in tune with your body to where if you're tensed up, say it to yourself,
Mhm.
I'm enough. I am beautiful. I am okay, you know?
You're giving them the tools to handle whatever it is that they're going through. So when you're not there coaching them, they'll be able to recall it quickly.
Yeah. And tools is a very important word in coaching. You've got to set them up for success because if not, they're going to keep going on this merry-go-round
Mhm.
and they're never going to get off. They're going to be okay for a month, but then it's that muscle memory, that groove in the muscle memory that they get back into and start it all over again. And I've seen that. I've had clients that said, oh, you know what? I'm great. I'm great. You helped me so much. I'm great. I'm appreciative.
Uh-huh.
Um, and they're like, okay, well, this is where it stops. And then all of a sudden it's like 3 months later, they're like, I need you again. And I'm like, okay, this needs to be in condition.
Yep.
We need sustainability, right? And that's what working with me does. It's an accountability where I don't want you to be my client for forever. I want the ideal client for me is someone who takes those resources, takes those tools, and they start to use it as a self-healing Bible. That's what I want. I don't want a client to be with me for 5 years because for me, it's not about the money and it's not about the sessions. It's about the healing, and the tools and the resources are super important.
Mhm.
So that takes us over to A in Spark, which is the action, right? The accountability on their own. So we've already went through S, which is to see it. We went through the P to pause, right?
Yeah.
This is where we go to the vision board, right? So most people say, hey, I'm going to do this vision board in January for 2026 and I'm going to hit the ground running, right? And they get to their vision board, they start working on it. And then by April, I'm going to give them February and March, but by April, they're sitting here like, oh, I haven't even looked at the vision board since I made it. Or why aren't things working on the vision board,
Mhm.
right? Oftentimes what I found, and I've been doing vision boards for a very long time,
Yeah, me too.
is that people come in with the notion of, I have this vision. And when they start their vision board, they're doing things based on a role.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a mother, I'm a wife, I'm in corporate, I'm a student. Those are all roles, right? Or you're doing something based off of an expectation that somebody else has for you, right? If you're a younger person, oh, I want to do dance because my mom says I have to do dance,
Mm-hmm.
or I need to do this because of limited beliefs, even how you grew up. Oh, I have to be a doctor because my parents were doctors and they want me to be a doctor, or you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Whatever it is. But the first step in all of this, that's where that awareness comes in, right? This is why I have the vision component, the action component in the middle, is because you've got to do self-healing work in the very beginning. You want to be your authentic self. Am I doing this goal because I truly want to do this, because it's really in my soul, it's my purpose? Or am I doing it because it's going to appease somebody else and make them feel good? Well, I'm about to drop a nugget. The nugget is goals never get done. They'll never be finished if they're in expectation of someone else.
Okay.
You don't have any peace with it. If
So
it's not, yeah, if it's not for you, it's going to go at the wayside. And I've seen that a lot. And if you guys are somebody out there who does this vision board every single year, and then you get to April or May and you're like, vision board what? Vision board who? That's the reason why, is because you have not identified goals specifically, authentically for you. You're meeting them, an expectation of somebody else.
Right. Or even maybe what society has placed on you. If I'm a certain age, maybe I should have gotten a master's degree by now, or maybe I should own a house by now. Maybe I should be married by now, have children by now. And so we have these thoughts and ideas that have been self-imposed or society imposed, family
Or
imposed, cultural imposed, yes, all those things.
Yeah. And oftentimes, like I said, I had a client from Bosnia. I have clients in Australia. There is a cultural divide.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? When it comes to the types of things that we would do,
Mm-hmm.
being in the United States versus what they would do, and the types of systemic holds that they have on them versus us.
Yeah.
It's very interesting when I do these workshops and you have these groups of people in these vision board workshops, and I'm walking them through this exact framework where they say, I came in thinking I was going to put this on my vision board, but it's not even on here, right? Because it's somebody else's goal. It's not their goal.
They're empowered to do something different. That's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. So then that part of it leads us into the R in Spark, which is to reclaim their own identity.
Okay.
You see the flow? You
Yeah.
see where we're going now?
Yeah.
So they're reclaiming their own identity. And through that, it builds confidence, because now you're really sitting in your authentic seat.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, wow, like this feels good. There's peace there.
Yeah.
There's happiness there. There's motion there, because when it's something that you really want, you're going to do whatever you can to get to the finish line, right?
Yeah.
So there's action. So reclaiming the identity. And I will tell you where that one really came into play for me is, you had asked me earlier how I got started. This framework and my methodology of SparkGoal, I'm not just, and I know this is so cliche when you say I'm not just the president, but I'm a client myself, right? But I will tell y'all, I was married for 30 years, almost 30 years, and I went through a divorce at the 30-year mark. And at the 30-year mark, you're sitting here saying you're 40 plus and you're getting a divorce after so many years, right? I sat back one day and I said, you know what? Without a marriage, I don't know who I am.
Mm.
Without the title of being a wife, I don't know who I am. I know that I am my kid's mother. And everywhere I go, I would be, oh, that's Tatiana's mother. Or that's Jalissa's mother. Or that's Antonio's mother, right? No one knew my name.
Mm.
Now, this is where it's going to get super powerful, okay? No one knew my name.
Wow.
So when I got divorced, I had an opportunity to change my name. I'd already had this business, already had these clients, right? And I said, you know what? Because the spirit led me to create SparkGoal,
Mhm.
the the corporate brand is Tamara Nikole Corp. SparkGoal is just the LLC under it. So when I got divorced and I was sitting here, I remember I called my dad up and I was like boo-hooing in the whole nine, right? And I'm like, do you mind if I take your name back? And my dad's like, wait, what? What is really going on? Like I was just this babbling fool. My emotions were all over the place, right? My hormones were all over the place because I'm 45, 50 plus,
Yeah.
going through a divorce after so many years. And the spirit fell on me and said, Tamara Nikole. Well, Nicole is my middle name, or was, because now it's my last name. And the spirit whispered and said, brand yourself. That way you will never feel like no one knows your name. That was my authenticity. That was an authentic moment for me, And so if y'all see me on social media and on my YouTube channel and I'm like, oh, I'm Tamara Nikole, you know why. Why
Yes,
you
it's
gotta keep saying
official.
because
That's
it's
your
my
brand.
name.
It's yours. We'll know
Because
who
I'm
you
not
are.
Tatiana's mother or Antonio's mother. I'm Tamara Nikole, So that right there is reclaiming my identity. I had to do it myself. And I had to, most people are like, oh my goodness, I'm going through a divorce. But, I had to go through that so that I can help other women get through it.
Yes.
Right. And for a very long time, I was doing divorce summits for women and speaking to women through these summits and saying, it's okay. It's okay that you're here, but you don't have to be stuck here
Mhm.
and we'll get through it. Reclaiming identity is a huge thing. Fixing women's crowns is a huge thing for me. And it was at this stage right here that another movement was birthed. Right. So it was at the reclaim stage, the
Okay.
reclaiming identity. I realized doing this summit, the divorce summit, that so many women were hurting and they were in pain because they lost their identity and didn't know who they were. If you asked them what they like to do, they couldn't tell you. Oh, I do this because my kids like it,
Yep.
or I do this because my ex-husband liked it. No, 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 no. This is your time
Yep.
to reclaim your identity and to do the things that you love. So let's take this assessment and let's see what authentically you like to do, right? One client told me I don't like to cook. And I'm like, well, why don't you don't know how to cook? She, no, 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 no. I know how to cook. I don't like to
She
cook.
doesn't enjoy it.
And I said, well, why don't you enjoy it? And she went back and said because her first boyfriend she was cooking something in the kitchen. He came in the kitchen and he told her she was doing something wrong.
No way.
Yeah, like why are you doing it that way?
Uh-huh.
And from there, she clinched up, she shut down, and she didn't pick up because of you know, she felt rejected in the way that she was cooking the meal. So it's limited beliefs. It's all of these things that trigger us, right? But once you anchor into that and you let her know that was projection. That wasn't you. That was because he felt like you should be doing it the way he would do it.
Mhm.
But you're your own person. And it's okay to say, I understand that you like it done that way, but this is how I do it.
Yeah.
You know, and then you take that away, from a person feeling rejected or not enough. 3 months later, she's cooking and she's loving it.
Wow.
Was a barrier. So again, we go from the S.P.A. to the R, and now we're reclaiming things, right? And the K is just keeping the spark. Keeping the spark. Once you are able to reclaim what you have now identified as your authenticity,
Mhm.
then you just keep the spark. You continue it. And nothing happens by you doing it one time. It has to be obedience. It has to be consistency, which equals the sustainability of it.
Yeah.
So that is pretty much the framework that I help my clients walk through.
Yeah.
It's not something that can be done in a month. I've even had clients where, I do these workshops. You know that. I do these workshops and I say, "Hey, look, I give you an opportunity at the end of the workshop to even during the workshop, I give you the framework." And some people are like, "Okay, we're just going to take the framework and we're going to do it on our own. We got this." But then you follow up a couple months later and it's like, "Oh, well, what framework? What workshop? Where?" And then you have the other side of the coin where you have people who've come to me and said, I know that I need more than just the workshop.
Yeah.
I need the accountability and the hand holding and the guidance. I need the hot seat calls. I call them spark calls, right? Where if it's between sessions and you are feeling stuck, then you have an opportunity to do a spark call. And that's outside of the session, right?
Yeah.
So they come in and they do a spark call and it's about 15 minutes, 30 minutes. It's not a full session.
Yeah.
It's just to get you unhinged, right? Whatever has got you stuck, whatever has got you, a little on the edge,
Hmm.
you'll call me and say, "Okay, talk this through. How are you feeling right now? Where do you feel like you're stuck?" I'm not giving you the answer, but I'm giving you the questions for you to answer,
Yeah. You're
you
the
know?
coach. You don't do
Yes.
it for 'em. Lead
Yes.
them to
You
doing the
know,
right thing.
right. But majority of the time they're just like, "You know what? I just needed someone to bounce this off of." So, that is the framework in itself.
Oh, I love that.
Ye
But you already knew that I loved it.
eh
And your primary clients are women. How did that happen? And was that intentional for you?
It was I give none of this to me. The Holy Spirit ordained all of what I'm going through because I like to channel the Holy Spirit. I like to be led by the Holy Spirit. When he first had given me this insight
Mhm.
and this passion, and when it started to unfold, right, what felt good was women. When I was sitting here writing down the blueprint for the roads that I would take, there was always reluctancy, there was always anxiety when it came to me going down the road of helping men. So it wasn't really
You weren't at peace, it sounds like,
it
with
I was not
working with
yeah,
women.
I wasn't at peace, and the reason why I wasn't at peace and I remember I kept telling myself, "I'm not a man, so I don't know how a man thinks," you know what I'm saying? Like, "I'm a woman, and I know how," and I kept giving excuses, I kept you know, and then I just spoke one day, I was praying and I spoke one day, I was like, "God, can you just if it's not meant, can you just take it out of the equation?" And he literally took it out of the equation. So, and I've tried. Men were like, "No." They was like, I want you as a coach." And I'm like, "We can try it." And I don't know, for some reason, it wasn't compatible for me.
Okay.
It wasn't compatible. And not because of the feminine or the masculinity of it. It just wasn't compatible because that's not where I'm supposed to be.
Yes. So when you started, you got confirmation when things were easy. Women were coming to you, sitting on your couch, asking those questions. That was confirmation that you were doing the right thing. And the flip side of that, it was harder for you when you were forcing it and trying to make it work. So
Yep.
that's also a level of confirmation too.
Yeah.
That, okay, I'm gonna step back from this because this is not what I'm supposed to be doing. So you have to be in tune with yourself so you know if you're on the right path or you're on the wrong path. And either way, you're gonna make those adjustments. You're gonna lean in or fall back.
Yeah, yeah, and I'm telling you, my spirit just couldn't rest when it was time for me to work with men. It did really feel forced.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
um, this is why I just work with women right now.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's fine. I
Yeah.
love that. I love that part of it. Now you have created a movement.
I have, I
So
have.
tell us a little bit about the movement, the Queen Bestie
Yes, the
movement.
Queen Bestie is a movement, and it goes back to that moment where that first person was sitting on my couch, and we weren't even there for that, but they just got super comfy, shoes off, and and you know how when you have people that come over and you're sort of kind of looking at them like, "Okay, what you doing in my furniture? Do you do that at home? Because we don't do that here." Like, completely took off her shoes, and she sort of kind of leaned to the side, put
Yeah.
her leg up and
Yeah.
everything.
Getting real comfortable.
Got real comfortable. And, everything in me was like, okay, what are you, I go, what are you doing? But then I had to refrain from saying anything because they were getting super comfortable. And the whole time that they were doing that, the spirit was working on me because I had a whole bunch of anxiety that came up, right? So that person got super comfortable. And after I just let her get comfortable and my anxiety came down a little bit, that was the best conversation I had in a very long time, right? It was so rewarding, not just for her, but for me, because it was when the passion had the spark lit under it, right? And the reason why the movement came about, that person felt so comfortable talking to me and telling me her deepest, most vulnerable feelings and secrets that I said, you know what, the movement is of Queen Bestie is that I want every woman to feel that comfortable. I want every woman to feel as though they have at least one person, if not any, they have one person, right, that they can go to and feel okay by being super exposed. And that is when you're in your most vulnerable state, exposed. And from that time, I had so many people who had come to me and said, you know what? It is just so super easy to talk to you. And that is what Queen Bestie is all about. So Queen Bestie is basically, if you don't have one person, you now can say that you have one person, which is me. I'm your Queen Bestie.
I love that.
Yeah, I'm the Queen Bestie.
And you're not only providing this as a service, but you're probably also going to continue to get out of it what you felt that time when you had that conversation on the couch with that woman who was super comfortable and was, being
Listen,
vulnerable with you.
asked me one day, how do you do this back to back to back? How do you do this back to back? You hear all of these people pouring their life out to you. Some of it, not all of it is pretty. A lot of it is very daunting, especially when you talk about people coming to you with diagnoses, right? That's daunting for them to have to think about, right? And I sat here and listened to, this person say, how do you do this? And I came to a realization that as I'm pouring into them, they're pouring into me. That's how my cup is filled. It never goes empty for that.
So it's not draining for you.
It's not draining for me.
I sometimes wonder how therapists replenish because I feel like they're giving so much. Who's helping them with their stuff? Or are they giving so much and then they need that replenishment? But it sounds like from your experience, you are actually being replenished as you're going through the process of helping other people.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, I'm, the whole extrovert, introvert kind of thing. I'm an extrovert. So
You get energy
from other people, right? Now, if you're a coach who's an introvert, you probably helping them, right? But when you go home at the end of the day, there's probably something extra that you do to get
to
replenished.
recharge. Yep. Yep. Cool. Is there anything else that you'd like to share?
Well, I would recommend everybody and anybody to be part of the Queen Bestie movement.
How do we do that? Tell us.
How do we do that? You can go to queenbestie.com and you can go ahead and fill out the form. That way I have your information. I will not spam you. It's me personally sending out the emails. I do have a team, but I like to have my hands in the more personable stuff to where people know authentically they're hearing my voice, right? And they're getting information from me. I will, if I have a client and I'm too busy, I will never send them to another person who's on staff with me.
Okay.
I do all of the sessions. So queenbestie.com, you don't need the www dot, just go straight to queenbestie.com, fill out the form, and then I'll give you some other information on how they can reach out to me. My email address,
Okay.
which is Tamara Nikole,
Nikole with the K.
Nikole with a K, Nikol, and or Nikole, and Tamara is Tamara, because I know it's spelled different ways. 2020 gmail.com, and that's my personal. So I'm the only one who monitors that one.
I'll make sure I put all that information in the notes to this episode.
Yeah.
And if we wanted to, so do we use that email address to contact you for the coaching side of your business?
I'll leave you my schedule calendar. That way They can do
Calendly, yes,
my
they can
Calendly
sign
calendar.
up. All
They
right,
can
we're
sign
making it
up.
easy, really
I'm
easy.
making it so easy. They can sign up, And just this one thing I want to say is that I'm very particular on the clients that I take. I don't just take anyone and everyone. Like I said, it's not about the money for me. It's about helping women who are ready to take massive action and to be helped, right? So when you do sign up in my Calendly app, there is a 15-20 minute consult that we'll take. And once I go through that consult, I'll find out what it is. I'll ask some assessment questions on just different questions to try to gauge how you are as consistent, how you are as an action taker,
Okay,
right? And if you're ready, because sometimes people aren't ready. People think they are, but they're not ready.
that's important. Yeah,
And it's important.
yeah.
So, I sort of kind of curate the clientele and who I take at what time,
Okay.
so I'm very particular about the clientele.
All right. Well, you got to have your stuff together.
You got just a little bit.
Just a little bit. You're gonna
And
help them do the rest.
the thing is not really your stuff together because that's why you're coming to me.
Mhm.
But you have to be at that stage where you're like, I need help and I accept help.
Mm-hmm. And you're ready to take the action. I think it's
Right.
more readiness
Yeah.
versus having your stuff together.
Yeah.
Being ready. What's next for you?
Ooh, there's a lot. There's a lot. So we have the SparkGoal Academy coming up, and that part of it I'm super excited about. My clients are already delving into that.
Okay.
I am taking 10 founders to be part of the academy for free.
Okay.
After I get those 10, there will be a charge, a fee associated with it. But right now I'm looking for 10 from your side, 10 founders to come in. And in this academy, you will get things like workshops, different types of workshops, reclaiming identity workshops. You'll get boundary setting workshops, right? I do so many different workshops on identity and on boundaries and self-help and self-discovery. You'll get affirmations. You'll get sound bites. You'll even get some challenges in there.
Everybody loves a good challenge.
Our some challenges lined up, which is going to be amazing. We are talking to the people who have challenges with weight loss.
Okay.
We're talking to people who have people pleasing, issues. So we're getting all of that together. There will be a self-help book out in Q2, hopefully sooner. We're finalizing the formatting of it right now, but it's really talking about this particular framework and giving you examples on how to get through. So this is basically a support to the coaching. My clients who I have that I'm coaching, I have them with the book so that they can continue to have that additional support when I'm not available.
Yeah.
They can continue to be consistent with the framework, know exactly what it is. That way they know how to identify what stage of the framework they're going through right now.
Right.
And then outside of that, a product line.
Okay, you are busy.
We got a Queen Bestie
Okay.
product line coming out. I have to send you your shirt.
Oh, yes. I love a good shirt. I love a good shirt. Well, thank you so much for being here today. I think this is such a powerful conversation to talk with you in depth about your Spark framework,
Yeah.
about what you're doing to transform lives of women across the world.
Yep.
And I look forward to continue to engage with you, to spreading the word about Queen Bestie, and to be a witness to all the things that you have going on and coming to fruition in 2026.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Abundance is near. Blessings are dropping. I feel it. But I'm super excited about you two and your podcast.
Oh,
I'm
thank you.
grateful. And I appreciate love you for having me on as a guest.
Anytime, anytime.
All right.
All right. Well, be well and be balanced, and we will see you next time. Thank you for joining me this week. Let's continue the conversation on social media at 1 Minute with Monee on all channels. Also, don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe to our podcast on your favorite platform. Until next time, be well and be balanced. Thank you for joining me this week. Let's continue the conversation on social media at 1 Minute with Monee on all channels. Also, don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe to our podcast on your favorite platform. Until next time, be well and be balanced.